話を見直してください。ポッドキャスタディ。
Now, back in the day, before Spotify, Apple, all of the music streaming websites were big and booming, and when you wanted to find a new artist that you see it on TikTok or on Facebook or YouTube, you would have to search, and I mean not just normal search, but do a deep dive into websites that looked kind of sketchy. You know, the kind that had those certain hot milfs in your area that are a mile down your road, ads on those side, and you're afraid to click one single millimeter off of it, because you know as soon as you press that button, there's going to be a set of massive tits that just popped up on your screen, and you don't know how to explain that because you were just trying to find this cool new artist called Young Dick Stank that a homie told you about in school while you were in first period. Those were different times. Those were wonderful times, because I was a underground music connoisseur, mind you. Yes, I'm going to pull a music fig card here. See, back in the day, I used to be one of the pioneers of finding new music. I would go to websites like DatPiz, DatPiff, SoundCloud, and just peruse for hours and hours and hours on end just to find new music. I found Young Gravy before Mr. Clean even came out. Suicide Boys, back when they did the Kill Yourself Part 1 was when I found them, and all of that. And that got me thinking, because I was reminiscing about those times, and it is a lot easier to find new music than what it was back in the day. Back in the day, you had to search, and I mean full ass, wholeheartedly search. Now you go on TikTok, and if you have a For You page like I do, it gets just sent to you. It gets put on your For You page, and the next thing you know, you got 20 new artists added to a playlist. And it's not hard anymore. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a terrible thing to find new music. It loses its lackluster. You know, you find a new artist, and the next thing you know, 20 million other people find them, and it's no longer a special thing. It's more just like, cool, awesome. I'm now glad that everybody knows who this is, and I don't have anything that, you know, I can be like, I could show somebody and it's something new. It's more like, oh yeah, I heard this on TikTok. And it's like, well, what's the fucking point then? Why am I showing you this if you already heard it on your For You page, or somebody used it in a sound to dance to? Which I love. I love that new music is coming out. I just miss kind of the integrity you had to put in when you wanted to find new rap. Like, you got sick of listening to the old shit that you'd find on the radio, or what was being played in your homie's car for the 58,000th time, you know, like Waka Flocka or Juicy J's new shit. When you really found something, I remember finding 100 gecs for the first time, and I don't remember what song it was. It was one of their real, and I know this is weird coming from like 100 gecs, because a lot of their songs are just fucking odd, but it was staring in my room, and I was like, it was that real high pitched voice, but it was talking about like cigarettes and broken bottles and all of that noise. But I remember finding it and just absolutely falling in love with it. And I went to show my homies, and I played it to them, and they're like, what the fuck is this trash? I said, it's 100 gecs, man, look them up. And they never did. And a part of me was sad, because I'm a music lover. I'm a music sharer. So when I share music, it's a sense of joy for me. It's a love language, if you will. That's the word the kids are using. It's a love language for me. But also being told, no, I don't like it, keep it to yourself, that felt me with a sense of pride, because I found that. And now I know it exists, so when other people find it, I can be like, hey, what do you think about this song? And we have a common interest in finding underground music. Now, I love when people show me new music, and especially when it's not on charts, or it's not well known in the TikTok realm. That's I like going on Twitter. Hip hop Twitter has to be a good place, but also a very, very, very bad place, because they will show you new music, but then you also bring up big rappers like Lil Baby, Young. I don't even know new rappers nowadays, and that's how far a lot of, like, I have fallen off of the hip hop scene. Like, I used to be into it, but now it's lame, because it's filled with a bunch of hype beasts that they just take rap and shit on it. It has lost its craft. underground hip hop has lost its craft. When I listen to Idea or Apathy or R.A. the Rugged Man or Young Pharaoh, just any rapper that you really don't see get screen time, they tend to get shit on by a lot of these hip hop heads. You know, these younger generation of hip hop heads, because they're like, oh, well, he didn't use this type of bar scheme, or he used rap beats that aren't. Shut up. Learn, respect the culture, first of all. Respect where it came from. Second of all, I understand about wanting to hear a song that, you know, gets you hyped, that makes you just want to punch an infant and a granny in a 5-second time span, just knock them right the fuck out. I get that. I'm one of those people. I like listening to it. But do not disrespect a beat that comes so hard it makes Johnny Sins look like an amateur. Okay, let's respect the craft, first of all. Second of all, underground rap. I see a lot of people that are still in the underground shit on other underground rappers. But guys that are big names, that have names in the industry, will be like, yeah, man, you know, I checked out this new artist that my homeboy sent me. And, you know, I dug it, and I want to listen to more of it. They'll give props to the underground guys, but the underground guys will shit on the top ranking players that are on Swizz in the Morning. What's that? It's that one that Joe Budden runs. Charlemagne the God. It's the radio show Charlemagne the God runs on. Like, they will shit on the big name guys and then also shit on the underground rappers too. Like, my brother in Christ, you are still an underground rapper yourself. You are in the same scene that those guys are. What is your prerogative here? The underground scene has just fallen, and I have no idea what was the decline of the underground scene. I think it was when SoundCloud rappers started getting bigger names and everybody was a rapper. So new music that you found on SoundCloud that was made by a couple homies in their basement and they did production, it just stopped. Everybody was a rapper. Everybody made a rap track, and then you just get made fun of every time you make a rap song. Making underground hip hop is no longer, it's no longer like, I do this. It's just, yeah, I made a song. Here you go. We need to bring back finding new hip hop and bringing new names to light instead of just rehashing the same 20 beats, the same 20 rhyme schemes, the same 20 words, and give some new guys a chance. Because if not, we are just going to stay in this continuous cycle of, dear God, that is the fucking ear wrench of hip hop that is nowadays. I hate to say this, I am a hip hop lover. Like, I love this shit with all of my heart, but I can't support what it's being turned into. You know, back when we used to have the Team Backpack Cypher, back when they were good, back when Gmo Ski was on there spitting bars about fucking a girl behind a dumpster while high on meth, or Dirtbag Dan, or Wreck Noise. It seems like, after, in my eyes, another giant pinnacle that, when it collapsed, underground hip hop kind of followed suit, was when Funk Volume perished. Now, I know I'm going to get a lot of heat for saying, Funk Volume perished, but it did. After the Hopsin and Dame beef, it died. Like, the underground scene kind of just, started tearing apart because nobody had a certain place to go when they wanted a rap contest. Nobody wanted to have, a rap contest anymore. Don't Funk Up Our Beats was my favorite time of the year. Why? Because you've seen so many MCs that were so fucking hungry for just a shred of acknowledgement from Hopsin, Jaron Benton, Dizzy Wright, and Swizz. But they just wanted that little bit of credibility from anybody on Funk Volume, and being able to rap on those beats was a fucking pride. It was to have somebody say, that was fucking dope. Where can I go to see that? And you're like, oh, just go to, Funk Volume and vote for me, because this is my song that I used on a Funk Volume beat. After that, boom, gone. There was an old horrorcore mixtape from back in the day. It was called Devil's Night, and it ran until 2012, 2012, I believe. Out of nowhere, it just stopped. It just quit. It ended. I don't know what happened to it. That was another thing that I look forward to all year, was the Devil's Night mixtape, because I love horrorcore. I love horror movies. I love hip hop. That is the bastard love child of both of them. So not seeing Devil's Night be produced anymore breaks my heart, because that was a chance for horrorcore artists to actually grow and shine, instead of just having the same big three: Twisted, Esham, and ICP. That's all you have anymore in the horrorcore scene. King Gordy don't make music anymore. Bizarre does whatever the fuck Bizarre does. We have no more idols in the underground scene. Everybody is, and I'm not saying this as a bad thing. It's good that these people are getting fame, but we have no underground idols anymore. We have no place to go to find underground. Like Deadman, co-host of VT Network, like he said, there's no more underground hip hop. It's either it's popular or it's not. Like, either people like it or they just don't give a fuck about it. And that breaks my heart, but I wholeheartedly agree with him. I have never heard a statement from Deadman that I disagreed with more than that one. Or more that I agreed with than that one, because it's true. Underground hip-hop is dead. Underground hip-hop doesn't exist. I'm not going to pull something like Nas would say and say that all hip-hop is dead. Hip-hop's not dead, but underground hip-hop is... That bitch is on an IV, and unfortunately, somebody's coming with a pillow and just like... The pillow is right here. The pillow is right here to the face, and I am just waiting for someone to push it down and just end it and just say underground hip hop doesn't exist. Either people know about you or they don't. That's the line. There's a hard difference. We need new idols in the underground scene where we can say, oh, you know, these people haven't made it yet, but they're making big moves for the underground. In my opinion, nobody's doing that. Nobody is doing that anymore. And that's shitty. If you have homies that are making music, support them. Go to their shows, push their CDs for them. Help out in their musical career, because it is a shit scene for a lot of people in underground hip hop nowadays, and they need all of the help they can get. So that's my final word on that. If you got friends that are making music that are still underground, support them. Because now, in this day and age, it is hard as shit. Like, you thought it was hard before? No. It is harder than shit nowadays to get noticed in the hip-hop scene in general, and just not having a lot of people behind you or supporting you is a even bigger bitch. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me in another episode of the Podcast Daddy Variety Show. I am your host, the Podcast Daddy. If you want to see my slow mental decline throughout the day, follow me on twitter.com/enoughsnuff. See my beautiful face, go to instagram.com/podcastdaddy. If you want to see my stupid little TikTok videos I make about manga or whatever pops into my head, go to TikTok, look up Podcast Daddy 1. And of course, if you want to see the video version of this, go to youtube.com/podcastdaddy. If you want to hear the audio version of this, I am on all podcasting platforms that you can hear this on. That includes Apple, Spotify, Castbox, Google, and iHeartRadio. Anywhere podcasts are played, that's where you can find me. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very, very much. I appreciate you giving me your time of day. Have a good day. Have a great night. And as always, keep your balls clean.